You're unique amongst financial advisors. You're known as a behavioral financial advisor.
Mhm.
Could you tell us what that designation means and how you use it to serve your clients?
Yeah, exactly. And I used some of the same tools actually early on in my career, but really got a certification in behavioral financial advisor. It's called the BFA designation. A QB was October of 2018. It was well, 2019, pre-pandemic, really to really look at how people make money decisions. It's all about marrying neuroscience with financial planning, and that's exactly what behavioral financial advice does, is to understand where and how people make their money decisions. So I start a lot of my conversations with potential clients, and actually my clients as well, as what does money really mean to you? How did you grow up with money in the household? How and who helps you make financial decisions? And then what may be holding you back? What may be keeping you stuck financially? And all of that deals with a lot of money mindset and your money personality. So the behavioral financial advice piece really hones in on figuring out what people are like. I do have a minor in psychology undergrad, so I kind of pulled and dust that off to use that along with my financial planning background, really to get to the essence of what keeps women stuck, particularly financially, and that wasn't able to move forward. Because what I found out over the last 19 years is that I can put together a really perfect financial plan, but if there were some things that were preventing people from moving forward, keeping them stuck, I wasn't making any progress, and they weren't making any progress. So I really had to get to the root cause of what may have been some of the issue, and so that's where the behavioral piece comes from. What it does is take your your values, what your values are, what your financial goals are, and then really aligning that with your behavior, understanding how do you make decisions, but the behavior piece. So if you want to retire, 10 years from now, but you're spending loads of money and you're not saving anything, that's not going to happen. So I need to work with my clients as well as curbing some of their behavior and really coming to, a consensus on, do you really want this? That goes back all the way to the values conversation. If you don't want it, then we'll kind of rework your values. But really looking at what I call VGB, which is values, goals, and behaviors. That's kind of what the behavioral financial advice designation.
I'm gonna touch on the mindset piece because I just love talking about mindset, and I think that it's so important in really everything to do. It's the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Before we make important decisions, we have to have the right mindset, and I want to come back to that.
Okay.
But I want to talk a little bit about you before we talk about a little bit about your clients and your practice. What was the journey like for you on the way to becoming a financial advisor and owning your own business?
Mm-hmm.
So a double, two questions.
Exactly. So, I just told you the story on how I got into it. That's I guess the easy part on figuring
Right,
out
but it wasn't.
what
I'm
you
sure
want
it
to do.
wasn't rosy.
But the journey always starts with how do you acquire clients, how do you get known in the business, that you have a business, you hang your shingle out, then you have to have people come to you. So the journey from the beginning was, this is what I set out to do as a mission, to work with women in that area, but I had to take everybody that I could in the beginning, because you got to eat when you're growing your business. And so what I decided to do, because it was one of those things, I started my career earlier on with American Express Financial Advisors, now Ameriprise, and it was all about smiling and dialing. So you have to kind of pick up the phone, do a lot of cold calling in the initial stages of that. And like I said before, I had two young children back to back, and I really wanted to be home with my babies. So I had to figure out the best way to make my new career work without having to spend hours on the phone. And I love to educate people, as we've had discussions before, Elsa. And so I started out just doing a lot of workshops and seminars in the area. It was what we called fish bowls. If you can imagine, where you would just put a fish bowl into a restaurant, and have people drop their business cards in. You pull a business card out, and you would offer them a free lunch for them in their office. And that's how I did, was really go into a lot of organizations and give presentations, what I call lunch and learn presentations in the beginning. And that's really how I grew my business, was through the seminars, through the lunch and learns to educate. And then that's how I kind of got into developing more of my business versus cold calling.
That's Pamela, that's one of the things that I love about you. And I have like a synergy in that we want to educate and empower. Those are the two pillars of my practice. Um,